The Vengeance of Kafur, by Alfred H. Miles. From fair Damascus, as the day grew late, passed Kafur homeward through St. Thomas Gate betwixt the pleasure gardens where he heard vie with the lute the twilight-wakened bird. But song touched not his heavy heart, nor yet the lovely lines of gold and violet, a guerdon left by the departing sun to grace the brow of Antelebanon. Upon his soul a crushing burden weighed, and to his eyes the swiftly gathering shade seemed but the presage of his doom to be, death, and the triumph of his enemy. One slain by slander, cried he, with a laugh, thus should the poets frame my epitaph, above whose mouldering dust it will be said, blessed be Allah that the hound is dead. Out rang a rhythmic revel as he spake from joyous bulbuls in the poplar brake, hailing the night's first blossom in the sky. And now, with failing foot, he drew Anig the orchard garden where his home was hid pomegranate shade and jasmine bloom amid. Despair mocked at him from the latticed gate where love and happiness had lain in wait with tender greetings, and the lights within gleamed on the grave of bliss that once had been. Fair Hope, who daily poured into his ear her rainbow promises, gave way to Fear, who smote him blindly, leaving him to moan with bitter tears before the gateway prone. Soft seemed the wind in sympathy to grieve, when lo, a sudden hand touched Kafur's sleeve, and then a voice cried, echoing his name, "Behold the proofs to put thy foe to shame." Up sprang the prostrate man, and while he stood gripping the proffered scrip in marvelhood, he who had brought deliverance slipped from sight. Thus joy made instant day of Kafur's night. Allah is just, he said. Then burning ire with vengeance visions filled his brain like fire, and to his bosom, anguish-torn but late, delirious with delight, he hugged his hate. "Revenge," cried he, "why wait until the morn? This night mine enemy shall know my scorn." The stars looked down in wonder overhead as backward Kafur toward Damascus sped. The wind, that erst had joined him in his grief, now whispered strangely to the walnut leaf. Into the bird's song pleading notes had crept, the happy fountains in the gardens wept, and e'en the river, with its restless roll, seemed calling pity unto Kafur's soul. "Allah," he cried, "O chasten thou my heart, move me to mercy and a nobler part." Slow strode he on, the while a new-born grace softened the rigid outlines of his face, nor paused he till he struck, as ne'er before, a ringing summons on his foeman's door. His mantle half across his features thrown, he won the spacious inner court unknown, where on a deep divan lay stretched his foe, sipping his sherbet cool with Hermon snow. Who, when he looked on Kafur, hurled his hate upon him, wrathful and infuriate, bidding him swift begone, and think to feel a judge's sentence and a jailer's steel. "Hark ye," cried Kafur, at this burst of rage, holding aloft a rolled parchment page. "Prayers and not threats were more to thy behoof. Thine is the danger, see. I hold the proof. Should I seek out the caliph in his bower tomorrow when the mid-muezzin hour has passed, and lay before his eyes this scrip, silence would seal forevermore thy lip. I quail and cringe and crook the supple knee, and beg thy life of me, thine enemy, whom thou, a moment since, didst doom to death. I will not breathe suspicion's lightest breath against thy vaunted fame, and even though before all men thou'st sworn thyself my foe, and pledged thyself wrongly to wreak on me thy utmost power of mortal injury, in spite of this, should I be first to die and win the bowers of the blessed on high, beside the golden gate of paradise thee will I wait with ever-watchful eyes, ready to plead forgiveness for thy sin, if thou shouldst come, and shouldst not enter in. Should Allah hear my plea, how sweet, for then would Kafur's vengeance be complete.